The story begins in the late 1800s. The frontier was harsh, and every settlement had its share of drifters, dreamers, and desperados. One such settlement stood near the Little Colorado River, where a man named Herman Wolf ran an Indian trading post. Wolf was not a man of many words, but his reputation traveled far and wide. He traded with settlers, cowboys, and the local tribes, exchanging everything from rifles to blankets and gold. His store was said to be one of the busiest outposts in the region, a haven for travelers crossing the desert, a place of refuge amid the barren lands. But the wilds of northern Arizona were never truly safe. Bands of robbers roamed the trails, and more than one merchant had been found dead, their wagons looted and burned under the endless desert sun. Wolf knew the danger. He watched the horizon every evening as the red light faded over the mesas. And so, he began a habit that would one day become legend. He buried his money. Every few weeks, when his profits grew heavy, Wolf would take jars, cans, and small metal containers filled with gold and silver coins and walk out into the field behind his store. There, near the fences that marked his land, he would dig. The sound of metal striking earth became as regular as the coyote's cry. Some said he marked the spots with strange symbols. Others said he told no one, not even his friends, where he hid his fortune. By the turn of the century, people whispered that Herman Wolf had buried a small empire beneath his land, over $350,000 in gold and silver, but no one ever found proof. And then Herman Wolf vanished. In 1899, the trading post doors closed for the last time. Travelers who passed by the Little Colorado found only silence. No smoke from the chimney, no voice calling out from the porch. It was as if the desert itself had swallowed Herman whole. Some said he had grown old and decided to return east, taking his fortune with him. Others whispered that he had been killed by bandits who had finally caught him off guard. But the most haunting tale said this, that Herman Wolf had gone out one night to bury another stash of coins and never returned. Years passed. The desert reclaimed his land. Winds eroded the old wooden fences, and dust buried the last traces of his trading post. But then, something strange happened. In 1901, a group of travelers stumbled upon 20 U.S. gold coins glinting in the dirt near the old post site. It was the first sign that the legend might be true. 15 years later, in 1916, another discovery was made, a bucket full of Mexican silver coins, unearthed by a ranch hand fixing a fence. Word spread fast. The old stories resurfaced. People began to dig, to search, to dream of uncovering Wolf's lost hoard. But no one ever found more than those few scattered pieces. The rest remained hidden, buried somewhere along the winding stretch of the California Santa Fe Trail, near the crossing at Canyon Diablo, a name that itself seemed cursed. Some say the treasure lies beneath what is now the dry riverbed of the Little Colorado. Others insist it's buried under the roots of trees that didn't even exist in Wolf's time. But one thing is certain, the earth has never given it back. Yet the legend of Herman Wolf's fortune wasn't the only treasure that haunted the land around Flagstaff. 25 miles southeast of the city, near a quiet spring known as Ashurst Run, another man lived, William Ashurst, a rancher, a frontiersman, and by all accounts, a man of grit and pride. His ranch stood in a lonely patch of wilderness, surrounded by pine and stone, where the wind carried the scent of rain and dust. Ashurst was a cautious man. He had seen what greed could do in those lawless days. Gold drew trouble faster than blood drew wolves. And so, like Wolf before him, Ashurst trusted only the earth. The legend says that during his lifetime, Ashurst buried cans of gold coins, each weighing between 5 and 10 pounds, scattered across his sprawling ranch. He did it quietly, in the dead of night, with only the stars to witness his secret. When he died, his family found no trace of his fortune. No map, no clues, only rumors whispered among the locals that somewhere beneath the hills of Ashurst Run, the old rancher's wealth still sleeps, waiting for a hand brave enough to dig it up. The desert holds on to its secrets. It never forgets and it never forgives. Treasure hunters came and went. They dug holes, followed old maps, and chased stories passed down from father to son. Some claim to have found small caches of coins. Others returned with nothing but blistered hands and sunburned dreams. A few never returned at all. Locals began to speak of strange lights seen near the ruins of Wolf's trading post, flickering lanterns that moved through the night, only to vanish when approached. Old-timers said it was Wolf himself, still wandering his land, searching for fortune he had buried and could no longer find. Near Ashurst Run, riders claimed to hear the echo of hooves when no horses were near. One prospector swore he saw a figure standing on a ridge at dusk, dressed in the old frontier garb, watching silently as the sun sank behind the peaks. Whether these were ghosts or guilt-born visions, no one could say. But every man who came to Flagstaff chasing gold soon realized something deeper, that here, the line between myth and reality was as thin as desert dust. In time, the stories of Wolf and Ashurst became local folklore. Children whispered them around campfires. Explorers pinned red circles on maps. And still, no one found the treasures. But every legend carries a warning. They say that those who search for Wolf's fortune are doomed to wander just like him, that the earth guards his gold jealously, punishing those who dig without respect. Over the decades, strange accidents have been reported near the Little Colorado. Sudden collapses of earth, tools breaking without reason, compasses spinning wildly in place. A few modern treasure hunters believe Wolf's fortune might be buried within a collapsed section of an old fence line, deep in the scrublands. Others think it lies beneath the remnants of a stone wall that once surrounded his post. And as for Ashurst's treasure, some geologists claim there's evidence of disturbed soil near the old ranch. Metal detectors have picked up faint signals. Yet nothing concrete has ever been unearthed. It's as if the land itself has swallowed the past and refused to give it back. Today, the city of Flagstaff thrives, a gateway to the Grand Canyon, a place of art, culture, and life. But beneath its modern face lies a wilderness of stories. Hikers walking near the Little Colorado often pass by the ruins of Herman Wolf's trading post without even knowing it. And near Ashurst Lake, where the breeze ripples the water and the mountains reflect in gold, few realize that they might be standing above a king's ransom in buried coins. Treasure hunters still come, some with technology, others with nothing but faith. They dig, they scan, they hope, and sometimes they stop and listen to wind, wondering if it carries the whisper of the men who buried their fortunes long ago. Maybe the treasure of Flagstaff isn't gold or silver at all. Maybe it's a legend itself, a story that has survived war, dust, and time. A reminder that even in the age of satellites and maps, there are still mysteries that no one can solve. But somewhere beneath the Arizona sun, the desert remembers. And perhaps, just perhaps, the earth is still guarding what men have long forgotten, the lost treasures of Flagstaff, Arizona.